This is Graham from Nice Writing Company, and who would have thought the middle of October would be 23 degrees. It's absolutely gorgeous here. Just taking a walk on one of the local trails here, just before I go back and put this intro on the video. And today I'm going to talk about the Pilot Metropolitan. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you afterwards. Welcome once again to my writing desk, and today we're going to look at these lovely pens. These are the Pilot Metropolitan. Now, price point of these pens is around the same as Lamy Safari, so they are a lower cost pen, but absolutely solid and give you a great writing experience, and our customers love them, and I also love these pens a lot. In fact, this red one is one that I take with me most places. We have 6 in stock, plus this MR1, which is the black Metropolitan. The other 6 are the retro pop Metropolitans, which have these nice color bands on them and come in purple, turquoise, green, red, black, and orange. Now, Pilot do have lots of different ranges of Metropolitan throughout the world and in Japan, but they're quite difficult to get hold of in North America. So currently, this is what we have. When you get your Metropolitan, it'll come in a gift box like this one, like most pens do. Let's crack that open and take a look inside. We have this nice plastic case, and we also have, if I can crack that open, it's a tin case actually. It's not a plastic case. My apologies. With a little glass panel there. We have the pen itself wrapped up in this plastic. This is the MR1, and we have a cartridge here, and inside the pen you will find a converter. Now, this is the squeeze type converter, so that gets a little bit, take you a little while to get used to filling this sack, and unfortunately it's not transparent, so you can't actually see how much ink is in the pen. However, if you did want to use the cartridge, you just pull out a converter from the nib section and pop the cartridge in. Now, something to note with these pens, of course, as you can see here, this is not an international standard cartridge. Pilot have proprietary fittings, so if I compare the international standard with the Pilot, you'll see there that there's quite a big difference, not just in the volume of ink, but also in the opening of the mouth there as well. So something to bear in mind, but these pens work just fine with bottled ink. You could always use a syringe to fill this guy if you don't like squeezing. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time to get used to. The nib section is plastic, but the actual barrel itself is an anodized aluminium, and the cap is a snap-on cap, which is very solid. Now, the pen itself also it's a nice weight. It feels pretty weighty compared with something like Lamy Safari that I mentioned before, which is a plastic pen and is a very light pen. This one actually feels quite weighty. We have the Pilot insignia there. The clip is also nice and solid. And of course, the Pilot nib, which generally they work really well and are really smooth. Just to give you an idea of the size of the Metropolitan compared to the others, there's Lamy Safari, and here is TWSBI Swipe. I love the shape of the Metropolitan as well. It's the Lamy's, it's a great pen, don't get me wrong. I love the Lamy, but it sort of feels a little plasticky, and it's got some edges there. Same thing with the Swipe as well. But the Metropolitan's pretty classy in a sense. It's got this nice sweeping barrel. It feels really good in the hand. If I take a look at the pens next to each other here, and they keep rolling around, it's always a problem with these things. Again, a similar sort of size, as you can see. The only difference with the Metropolitan, beyond size, is the weight, and it actually feels weighty in the hand, and it actually feels nice and comfortable to write with. These guys, the Swipe and the Lamy, they feel, a lot lighter for sure. The fact that the Metropolitan has this plastic nib section doesn't really detract from the pen. Actually, the whole thing feels like it's got a nice quality around it, and the fact that it's gonna last for many years to come. Now, the other thing that I love about the Metropolitans is the colored bands that they have. Now, the black MR1 up here has this black band, which is, you know, it looks a little classy or a little bland, depending on your viewpoint, I guess. But the Retropops themselves have these beautiful bands that matches each color. And we have several customers that have purchased all of these for their collection. They just use different pen depending on a different day. And they're really bright and colored, and along with this finish, they look really good. And they're just fun to use, and they bring a little bit of happiness into one's life and one's writing, which, you know, we need occasionally. So as always, the question is, how well does this pen write? And I'm going to find out with my Rhodia pad and a bottle of Beaver Dam Brown from Ferris Wheel Press. Currently I'm working through all of their inks, trying as many as I can. So I'm going to fill this pen with this little squeeze converter mechanism here and see how easy that's going to be. Hopefully not tip it on the floor or the table. Let's get that full. Now, once again, it's not that easy to see how much ink you have in the squeeze converter. So I'm just going to give it a few squeezes and hopefully there's some ink in there. I am fairly sure there is. Try not to knock that over. Clean my pen of excess ink. And make sure the lid, whoops, make sure the lid is firmly on the bottle before I throw the bottle on the floor. There we go. And let's take a look here. Lovely. Not bad at all. This is a fine nib. Now you will notice the Japanese nibs tend to be a little bit finer than European counterparts. So if you're using, for example, a Koeko fine nib or a Lamy fine nib, you'll find this Japanese nib's just a little bit finer. It's more like an extra fine, perhaps. And smoothness wise, not bad at all, right straight away as soon as I filled the pen, and feels really good. Let's do a quick comparison with my TWSBI swipe, which I think is inked up. Yes. Okay, so the TWSBI uses a Yovo nib, which is a European nib. I believe this is a fine also, hopefully. Not bad. Actually, these both pens are a similar price point. Both pens write really well. I got to be honest, I carry the Metropolitan around with me because I like the weight of it a little more than the other pens that I showed you today, the Swipe and the Lamy. Feels great in the hand to write with and feels a little heavier. And I really enjoy a slightly heavier pen. In terms of nib sizes, pretty comparable, I think. Yeah, both pretty much the same. So not a huge nib, but definitely a functional one on a Metropolitan. Similar to the other pens in the same price point as well. Just works right out of the box, and I don't think you'd be disappointed with it. You have to get used to the squeeze converter a little bit. Aside from that, absolutely nothing bad about this pen whatsoever. Thanks for watching the video. Sorry about the blooper in the middle. I thought I'd keep it in there for fun anyway. If you like our videos, please hit the subscribe button below and find us at www.knightswriting.ca, and I will see you next time.